Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
Coldplay threw a couple on the kiss cam. Turns out they were having an affair? I don't think even Coldplay can fix this.
The CEO caught on kiss cam at a Coldplay concert, snuggling with his head of human resources.
He had it all: wealth, status, and a seemingly perfect family. Andy Byron, the CEO of a booming AI empire, was living every billionaire's dream. A stunning wife, 2 beautiful children, and the respect of an industry that saw him as the face of modern leadership. To the outside world, he was untouchable, an inspirational figure who preached ethics, loyalty, and trust. But all it took was 10 seconds on a kiss cam to unravel a carefully built empire. One ordinary night at a Coldplay concert, Andy wasn't alone. Sitting beside him was Kristen, his company's head of HR. As the crowd cheered and the music soared, the stadium's jumbotron zoomed in. Then came Chris Martin's voice over the mic. Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. In an instant, the world stopped. The internet exploded. Within minutes, millions were replaying the awkward moment, dissecting the body language, connecting the dots, and just like that, Andy Byron went from powerful tech mogul to scandalized husband, live in front of the world. Scandals may fade, but digital footprints last forever. Tap into the world of billionaires like never before. Subscribe now, because the next secret is always one click away. Before the scandal erupted, Andy Byron wasn't just a tech executive, he was a visionary. As co-founder and CEO of Astronomer, a powerhouse in artificial intelligence and data orchestration, Andy was a respected voice in Silicon Valley boardrooms. He spoke at elite conferences, advised on leadership ethics, and authored LinkedIn posts that praised transparency and workplace trust. His image? Flawless. A billionaire with a moral compass, admired not only for his mind, but for his message. But the kiss cam didn't just catch him off guard, it exposed a double life. Kristen Catt, the woman seated beside him during that fateful Coldplay concert, wasn't just any employee. She was the head of human resources, a role that demanded discretion, neutrality, and strict enforcement of professional boundaries. So when their intimate body language flashed across the stadium screen, it wasn't just personal, it was corporate. The footage went viral within hours. By morning, online sleuths had identified Kristen, traced her LinkedIn, and flooded the internet with memes, hot takes, and calls for accountability. Andy's credibility, built over decades, was disintegrating in real time. Worse still, this wasn't a faceless scandal. It was embarrassingly visible, recorded, and commentated by a world-famous rock star. No rumors, no he said she said. Just undeniable video proof. And a very public contradiction of the values Andy had long promoted. And in the eyes of the public, nothing says betrayal quite like hypocrisy, especially when it comes from the top. While the world was glued to the footage, replaying every frame of Andy's downfall, one person remained silent. Megan Byron, Andy's wife of over a decade. She didn't scream. She didn't post a cryptic message. She didn't rush to the press with accusations. Instead, Megan responded in the quietest, most composed way possible. And that silence spoke volumes. First, she dropped Andy's last name from her social media. Then, she made her Instagram account disappear entirely. Friends close to her say there were no tears, no dramatic outbursts, just calm precision. She didn't need the world to hear her pain. The internet was already loud enough. What she did instead was lawyer up. Within days, Megan filed for divorce. But this wasn't just a separation, it was a calculated strike. Sources say she's seeking $30 million in damages, nearly half of Andy's estimated net worth. And who could blame her? While Andy was chasing a forbidden moment in the crowd, Megan was home raising their children, holding down the life he claimed to cherish. Insiders say this wasn't about revenge, it was about dignity. Megan had stood beside Andy through his rise, his sleepless years, the startup chaos. She played the role of supportive wife flawlessly until the mask fell off, and so did her patience. Now, without saying a word, Megan has become a symbol, not of heartbreak, but of self-respect. And while Andy's empire crumbles in public, Megan is walking away with grace, strength, and quite possibly, everything he ever took for granted. As Meghan moved with quiet precision, the internet moved with a vengeance. What began as a viral kiss cam clip quickly evolved into a full-scale public reckoning. TikTokers dissected the moment frame by frame. Twitter lit up with memes and ruthless commentary. On Reddit, amateur detectives uncovered Kristen's identity, her position as astronomer, and her professional ties to Andy, all within hours. But it didn't stop there. Users began digging into Andy's old LinkedIn posts, the very ones where he preached integrity, trust, and workplace ethics. Now, those polished words were being weaponized against him, flooded with sarcastic comments like, "Guess trust doesn't apply on concert nights," and "Is this the culture you were building?" Even Astronomer's official LinkedIn account wasn't spared. One now viral post read, "Let's talk about workplace boundaries, starting with the kiss cam." Behind the scenes, the company responded swiftly. Kristen's name was removed from the website. Her bio vanished. Andy, while not officially fired, was suspended indefinitely, a move insiders say signaled a formal investigation had begun. Questions swirled. Was the relationship consensual? Did it violate company policies? Were promotions or compensation involved? It wasn't just a PR nightmare, it was a corporate crisis. Kristen wasn't just a random employee, she was the head of HR, the very person responsible for preventing this kind of scandal. And in the court of public opinion, Astronomer's silence only confirmed what everyone already suspected. The empire was bleeding, and it was Andy's own hands that made the first cut. In the aftermath of the scandal, Andy Byron vanished from the public eye, but whispers about his downfall only grew louder. Sources close to him revealed that behind closed doors, the once confident CEO was unraveling. The man who once graced Forbes panels and led billion-dollar board meetings was now reportedly telling friends he was broke. Of course, not broke in the literal sense. He still had luxury assets, savings, and investments, but emotionally, financially shaken? Completely. With Meghan demanding $30 million in divorce proceedings and legal fees piling up, Andy was facing the kind of losses that could cripple even the most seasoned billionaire. Worse yet, he resigned from Astronomer under mounting pressure. That meant no golden parachute, no graceful exit. The company was severing ties, fast and publicly. His reputation in the tech world, once spotless, was now stained with scandal, hypocrisy, and HR violations. Investors were distancing themselves. Board members were quiet. The media, relentless. Andy's inner circle reportedly said he wasn't sleeping, wasn't eating, and feared the scandal would follow him for the rest of his life. And in a world where image is currency, his was now worthless. So, is Andy truly broke? Maybe not in dollars, but in power, reputation, and peace of mind, he's bankrupt. Because when you're a billionaire, it's not just about what you own, it's about what you represent. And after a 10-second mistake on a jumbotron, Andy Byron no longer represents anything, except the price of arrogance in the digital age. As Andy's empire crumbled, Kristen Catt, the woman at the center of it all, disappeared into the shadows. Within days of the scandal going viral, she deactivated all her social media accounts. Her professional pages vanished, and she stopped showing up at Astronomer's headquarters altogether. There were no statements, no apologies, no interviews, just a swift and total retreat from the public eye. But silence didn't save her. For many, Kristen wasn't just the other woman. She was the head of HR, a symbol of responsibility and workplace integrity. And now she had become a walking contradiction. Online forums dubbed her the woman who brought down the billionaire, while others questioned whether she had manipulated her position for personal gain. Rumors swirled that their relationship had been ongoing for months, cleverly hidden under the guise of late-night strategy meetings. Insiders at Astronomer said Kristen's name had become unmentionable within the company. Some employees reportedly received HR emails discouraging gossip, while others quietly celebrated her departure as overdue. One anonymous staffer even wrote, "She wasn't just Andy's downfall, she was toxic to the whole culture." But regardless of where Kristen went, her name had already been etched into tech's Hall of Shame. Her presence lingered like smoke. A reminder that when power and desire collide, it's never just personal. it's systemic. In the end, Kristen didn't just vanish from LinkedIn. She vanished from a future that once seemed paved in gold, dragging Andy Byron's legacy down with her. While the internet dissected Andy's downfall and Kristen vanished, the true damage quietly festered inside the heart of Astronomer Inc. What was once considered one of Silicon Valley's most promising, ethically driven startups suddenly found itself in a credibility crisis. Employees began whispering in corridors. If the CEO and head of HR could be involved in a secret affair, what else was being hidden behind closed boardroom doors? Slack channels that once buzzed with innovation turned cold and cautious. Trust wasn't just shaken, it was obliterated. Internal leaks revealed that several key engineers and managers had handed in resignation letters within weeks of the scandal. Morale plummeted. Deadlines were missed. Product launches delayed. Some employees even began anonymously posting online saying, "We were told this company stood for values, but it turns out it was all branding." Investors weren't deaf to the chaos. Meetings were postponed. Funding talks cooled. One venture capital firm reportedly pulled out of a $50 million deal last minute, citing leadership instability. In response, astronomers scrambled. Press releases were drafted. A new interim CEO was appointed. HR policies were updated, but the wound was deep and the bleeding was public. This wasn't just about Andy and Kristen anymore. It was about a company whose culture cracked the moment its leaders forgot. In the age of transparency, betrayal is never private, and consequences always ripple outward. After the media storm settled and public outrage began to fade, Andy Byron wasn't arrested. He wasn't publicly sued. No viral apology was posted. But something far more chilling happened. He disappeared. Not in a physical sense, but in influence, in relevance, in power. Invitations to elite tech conferences stopped arriving. His once packed speaking engagements were quietly cancelled. Philanthropic boards he sat on swiftly removed his name from their websites. Friends from the Billionaire circle, the very people who once toasted to his vision, cut ties in private. No press release, no scandalous headlines, just silence. Megan Byron, his now ex-wife, was seen attending a gala weeks later, radiant, poised, and utterly unbothered. She was greeted with open arms. Andy, on the other hand, became a ghost in the spaces he used to dominate. It was a modern exile, one without handcuffs or courts, but equally brutal. The very society that once celebrated him had chosen to forget him. Not out of justice, but out of preservation. In the world of billionaires, appearances are everything, and Andy had become bad optics. Kristen, too, remained out of sight. Rumors swirled about her relocating to Europe, changing her name, starting over. But no one confirmed anything. No one dared. Andy Byron's empire didn't collapse in fire. It was slowly dismantled in whispers, closed doors, and unspoken rejections. And sometimes that kind of erasure cuts deeper than any public trial ever could. In a world where billionaires seem untouchable, where wealth often shields from consequence, Andy Byron's story serves as a rare, brutal reminder: no one is above trust. What began as a fleeting moment, a kiss caught under the spotlight of a Coldplay concert, spiraled into a full-scale collapse. A career, a marriage, a legacy, all undone in less than 60 seconds. Not by court orders or government probes, but by public shame, corporate mutiny, and the quiet exile of high society. It wasn't the affair alone that destroyed him. It was the arrogance to believe no one was watching, and the mistake of underestimating the cost of silence when the truth finally screams. Now, Astronomer Inc. fights to rebuild. Megan Byron stands tall in the ruins, and Andy? He fades, not as a fallen tech hero, but as a cautionary tale whispered in billionaire boardrooms. But what do you think? Was this justice served, or just another scandal the rich will eventually recover from? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoy uncovering the dark, glittering secrets of the elite, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell. Because on Royal King Luxury, every empire has a story, and some are built on lies. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.